Alright, I wasn't gonna do this video because there's so much to unpack here. There's I don't really know how I feel about it because it is so prevalent in the Black community, but I would be doing myself a disservice if I did not use my platform, as small as it is, to share what I think. You guys know this page is usually about love, light, peace, happiness, joy, positivity. But when there's a message that needs to be talked about and needs to be passed on, I'm trying to make sure that I'm a part of that. Alright, so I'm Kemray. This is Kemray Music TV. If you guys are new here, make sure you subscribe to my channel, like this video, share the video, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and let's go. As you guys know, a documentary, 6-part, 6-episode, 3-part, 3-night series on R. Kelly and all the accusations and the survivors and basically everything that has happened in his life as far as the sexual misconduct, aired on Lifetime Thursday night, Friday night, and tonight. And lots of women came out to do this show. Tarana Burke, the leader of the Me Too movement, came out. The woman that started the Mute R. Kelly movement was on there also. There were all kind of stars on the show, giving their opinion, giving their experience with him. You had John Legend, you had Wendy Williams, you had Charlemagne the God, you had clips of Joe Budden and of Ebro and of you had Tom Joyner, you had Andrea Kelly, who was his ex-wife. You had the parents of the females who are still with R. Kelly right now as we speak. So it was a lot. It was a lot. The first night I was watching, just to get information, pretty much thought I know all about this already. We know how big R. Kelly was. I Believe I Can Fly is the song that I sung when I first knew I could sing. So I didn't think I was going to learn anything new. Really didn't. But as I was watching, I started to get distressed. I started to feel saddened in my heart. I started to feel like I don't want to watch this no more. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep watching because, this is the reason I don't want to watch is because I know it's not just him. I know that this type of mentality, this type of behavior is prevalent in the Black community so many places, and it's just too much. So I kept watching, and everybody's tweeting, and I mean it is taking over the Twitter sphere, all right? And so after that first night, I said, I'm going to watch, but I'm not going to review it because this man is not locked up. He has not passed on, and he's denied. Even when he went to trial on the child pornography cases, he was acquitted. He was found not guilty on all these counts. And so it's like, to sit here and talk about it, what I hate doing is beating a dead horse, okay? So to sit here and talk about it, I felt like, what is it really going to do? But as I started to watch night 2 and even after watching tonight, and people were actually in my life were actually asking me, are you going to review it? And I felt like, no, like I'm not some big YouTuber. I'm not a big public figure. I'm not, I might aspire to be that, but my platform, I don't have people looking up to me to get my opinion on something as big as this. And then I thought about, well, maybe I do. Maybe I do have some people. So I felt like, I'm going to get in front of this camera. I'm not going to go through each thing because I feel like it was just a lot. It was a lot. There were certain things that stuck out to me. His older brother that said that, some people have a preference. And, I prefer older women. And my younger brother, he prefers younger women. It just made me think, like, do these older men really look at 14, 15, 16-year-old girls, 12-year-old girls as younger women? So that was one big part. Another big part was when he married Aaliyah, you know, to see him on that show and they're matching. And she's saying, he is my best friend. A grown man. I believe 30 years old or almost 30 years old. And she's at the time 13, 14 years old. And then it brings up another conversation as to, you know, the record company that was dressing up this young girl to appeal, to look older than what she really was. And she was singing music that enticed men and attracted men, but she's a child. I didn't know that about Aaliyah. I didn't know that. I knew that she was younger. I knew that when she passed away, she was a lot younger. But I was not no Aaliyah super fan. It always amazes me, the people that are still Aaliyah super fans to this day. Not to talk ill will on her, but it's like, I don't know. But it just amazes me how many people are still so involved, you know, with Aaliyah and her music. But anyway, that age ain't nothing but a number. I did not realize she was that young. So then to see this guy, Demetrius, who was like the tour manager, and, you know, he knew about everything. He knew about the girls. He would go to the mall and pick out these girls, like the girl Lizette. He would, you know, he knew about the tapes before the tapes got out. He was the one who actually went and forged Aaliyah's age on the marriage certificate, or got the papers to forge her age so that the marriage certificate would say 18 and him 27, when really she was 14. So, you know, I'm just watching. And, you know, you see Andrea Kelly come out, who's she's this dancer, you know, and we saw her on Hollywood Exes. And she's just talking. She's talking about how she was hogtied. And then all these women in this house, they couldn't speak and they never saw each other. And even, you know, just watching her and her response, it was very, very, very hard to watch. To watch Sparkle come on this camera and say that she identified her niece in that sex tape with R. Kelly, and then her own blood said that that wasn't their child, and Sparkle had to be estranged from her family because she was standing up for her niece. And then to see now that the sexual misconduct and the child pornography and the sex with children, and then it went on to abuse, domestic abuse, and starving people in your home, and brainwashing, and a sex cult, and it's just evolved. It's a snowball. It's just evolved into bigger things. But you know, I'm not here to put R. Kelly on the cross, because we all have transgressions. We all have our stuff. Okay? What I'm here to talk about with you guys is how this should create a conversation. It should create a new standard in our community, period. The Me Too movement should not have been the start of holding these people accountable. But it was, and I'm thankful. So when I'm saying that, I mean that talk that you get when you become a woman, you get your menstrual cycle, and, you know, women start to tell you, you know, watch how you carry yourself around these grown men. Don't wear these short dresses, these short skirts. Watch how men are looking at you. That whole talk right there, it sickens me that it even has to be a talk. It sickens me. Because I can recall a few times where men who had no business talking to me were talking to me in a way that they had no business talking to me. A few times. And it's not okay. It's not ever going to be okay. And I was not out in these settings where, I was not in settings where that would be okay. This is settings where they're supposed to be trusted. But because I had already been briefed, because I had people in my corner, you know, as an adult, I knew how to move. I knew what to do. But every woman don't get that. Every young girl don't get that. But it's prevalent in our community and people know about it. People just say, oh, you know, he's just like that, you know. But when you start to hear, and they'll use anything. They'll use anything to try to get you to feel special, to feel beautiful, because they see a void that you don't have, that you're not hearing that. So when you hear it from them, then it's that much better. Or that they can provide something that somebody else wasn't able to give you. I'm here to tell you right now, you are worth it. You are beautiful. You don't have to sit there and entertain BS to prove worth. You don't. You don't. If you are in a situation right now where you feel like you are being held against your will, where you are going to work every day and somebody is looking at you a type of way or doing something to you that you are not asking for, if it's in your church, if it's at your school, if it's on your job, it is wrong. It's wrong. It's just wrong. And the fact of the matter is, you know, a lot of us have these daddy issues, and, you know, they manifest into the men that we choose. So you go through what you go through. Yeah, you go through what you go through, and you work on it, and you figure out, you know, I deserve better, and you come up out of it. You forgive yourself. You forgive those people who've done wrongdoing to you. But now you have a voice. You have a responsibility to give that to other women so that they can see that it don't have to be that way. It just don't have to be that way. To see these parents on this show, even up to now, right now, this is not something that just ended in 2000, 2010. They're saying these women from 2017, 18, parents trying to roll up and get their daughters out. And because their daughters are so brainwashed, and this is one of them, two of the girls had both of their parents in their life. So a lot of you guys think this happens in single parent homes, but it's not just about the single parent. It's one thing to be a polygamist where you have multiple wives. I don't line up with that. I don't agree with that. But it's one thing if he was a polygamist. It's one thing if he had an arrangement against all these women and they all just knew we're all together. We all, you know, which is another thing I don't agree with. But to be forced to pee and do all this stuff in a bucket, to be told you can't eat for 3 days, to be getting slapped around. And you know, it just shocked me. It shocked me that even in 2017, these parents, they go to this R. Kelly show. They bring their daughter. The daughter gets pulled up on the stage to dance with these other girls. The daughter can actually sing. So she gets backstage. She's exiting backstage to meet her parents, but she lets R. Kelly know, I guess she can sing or whatever. They exchange numbers. So she's texting him back and forth. The point I'm making is the parents grew up on R. Kelly. Okay, it's one thing to be 17 and your parents don't really know about it. And, you know, you see R. Kelly, this 40-something-year-old man now, and maybe you got stars in your eyes and you're like, you know, I can sing, he can get me there. Okay, that's one thing. But when your parents are around his age or maybe a little younger, and they grew up on the music and they grew up hearing about the accusations and the dad is like, you know, I'm going to protect my daughter because I can see her, you know, to when they found out she was at the hotel and they rolled up at the hotel talking about she's auditioning. You know, I was with the parents. I was like, okay, this sounds like something my mom would do. Super mom. Come in there and get them out. Okay. But when they said that they spoke with R. Kelly and talk to him and to get in a guardian and sign this contract so that a guardian could go with them on tour or go with her on tour, I said, this is where I have the problem. You knew all the stuff, even if they were accusations, even if they were whispers, wonders, you still had a suspicion. So why not send like a cousin? Why not one of you quit your job and sign up? Because if this is your daughter's dream, and you really believe in her, don't send her off by herself with somebody that you don't know about for sure. Even the last couple girls, the girl who ended up getting herpes from him, I think it was Joycelyn and another girl. Okay, that girl. You know, when he was banging on her door at 6 a.m., the hotel room door, and they end up having sex and it's on an iPad. She seemed, when she started talking about their first encounter, and she was like they were dating for a year or two, how are you still so enamored with him? That's the problem with girls of today. Okay? And I'm going to say this. I'm not calling anybody out. I'm making a generalization. It is praised right now for girls to get with the guy and get with them for the money, okay? For the lace wigs, for the bags, for the clothes, at all costs. You know, City Girls music, they kind of praise that. Okay? But it's like these young girls get with these older men, get you a sugar daddy and all that. He'll pay your rent. He'll pay all this stuff for you. And you're of a consenting age. But if you get with the wrong one and he starts to brainwash you and you're messing with him unprotected and you got, like, come on. A lot of us have been delivered from so many things. And I praise God every day because I have come out of some things. I have learned to love myself. I've learned to grow. I've learned self-love. I've moved on in life. But you cannot forget the type of things that you encounter in life and not pass it on to other people. You have a responsibility. And you know, as I'm watching, I'm getting more and more annoyed. Because like I said, there are people in the community who do this and they make it okay. And it's not okay. It's not okay. It'll never be okay. I'm going to say this and I'm going to be done. Very specific times where I was in a setting where I thought I could trust who I was around and got a few comments thrown my way and quickly realized, and shut it down so fast. But at the same time, I wondered, how many other girls have you tried that you think that's going to fly with me? The whole point of this R. Kelly story was to get us on our feet, okay? To get some action rolling. These are survivors. These are women who have come forward about something that's been going on in the Black community that people have just been ignoring over and over and over. And it has manifested into something much bigger, all right? He has come out with this song, I Admit, where he's literally taunting and saying, look what I did, but you can't prove a thing because I brainwashed these women. But aside from R. Kelly, there's a bigger message here. These grown men, these grown men, I have a message for you, okay? Leave young women alone. Leave young women alone. Stop asking them to be your friend. Stop saying that you're going to fund things. Stop. It's not cool. It's not. Because it's uncomfortable when you walk into a room and you have to assess, is this man looking at me for who I am? Is he looking at what I have going on? Why do I have to cover up? Why do I have, women have to think about so many different things. I'm not saying that men don't, but more times out of none, women do. Women do. So even before it manifests, you're training the young women, you're training your daughters to act a certain type of way so they don't have to deal with all that. But yet we still do. Do you know how many times as a singer I had to deal with a radio personality or a DJ or someone who's much older than me trying to push forward this dream, or I got you on this dream, or let's hang out, let's go. No. People want to ask you, why you're not singing, why you're not out there. Because until I figure out how to independently do it, until I figure out how to do it my way, the way I want it done, it won't be none of that. Because it is a male-dominated industry. And everybody might not be like that. I understand that. But look how much power. Look how much power. And then when you find out you're not the only one. I have plenty of friends that sing, plenty of friends that deal with it. Luckily, we're in a time now where you can pop up a camera and voice your opinion. You don't have to hide or give your word through other people. You have Twitter where you can voice. You have Instagram. You have all these other platforms where you can vocalize how you feel about things. But this R. Kelly, Surviving R. Kelly thing, there's a bigger conversation here. A much bigger conversation here. So you guys leave in the comments what you thought about Surviving R. Kelly. To me, it was very dark. It was very, very dark. Having gone through my own things, having friends who've gone through things, knowing things about the industry, it was a lot to watch. But I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad I got up here on this camera. And I may get 2-3 views. But I had to get what I had to say off my chest because it is very prevalent in our community. I'm Camray. This is Camray Music TV. Make sure you guys look out for all of my other videos. We are developing a schedule, all right? I'm trying to get my pep back up because that was really dark. But we're developing a schedule. Sunday nights is going to be Real Housewives. Wednesday nights is going to be Love and Hip Hop Miami reviews. And Fridays, but right around noon time, you'll get your weekly wrap up. All right. So we're trying to get the schedule rolling for y'all. But yeah. So you guys leave down below what you thought. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.